Spell, Limdol's Vaults, Enlightened Tutor, Thopter Foundry, Sword of the Meek, Swords of Plowshares, Moat and Snaring Bridge, Jace, Explosives, Pithing Needle, O-Ring, Lion's Eye Diamond, Ponder, Opal, and then a bunch of sideboard cards, and quite the array of lands, including ones he can tutor for with his Enlightened Tutor. The main deck, Lion's Eye Diamond, I think is really, really interesting here because, you know, he can just use it for a mana boost in kind of a weird way, you know, with something like, say, Jace the Mind Sculptor, or Brainstorm, or potentially get 3 extra activations on a Thopter Foundry. So it'll be interesting to see if that comes into play. And it looks like the players are off to the races.
Alix leads off, plays an island. Alix is the type of combo deck where he's just going to be playing islands and passing for a few turns. Earlier when we were talking about how Doomsday was not necessarily the type of combo deck where you can bide your time and use your life total as a resource, but High Tide combo is certainly that type of combo deck. Now, High Tide deck is definitely a thinking man's archetype. Merchant Scroll. Searching his library for a Force of Will. He says to his opponent, I've already got everything I need. I'm just going to mulligan. That's the thing about Force of Will that a lot of people don't recognize, is that Force of Will is actually a card disadvantage. So it's important that if you're using your Force of Wills, you're either countering something that's absolutely game-breaking from your opponent, or protecting your own combo that's going to win you the game. Adam has a top, which, while very strong by itself, will need to be accompanied by a counterbalance if Adam wants to have a good chance of fighting through this barrage of card draw that Alix is going to throw out on his winning turn. Oh, he naturally drew the counterbalance. That's pretty lucky. Got to see how Adam decides to take this. Adam responds with a Meditate. Ooh. I don't mind that play at all. Yeah. He says, all right, Adam. You wanna play a control deck? Take an extra turn. I don't mind. I'm drawing 4 cards. It's actually pretty powerful here. He doesn't have to discard these cards at all. Not until the end of his turn. And he uses a Force of Will, exiling a Turnabout. His opponent removes a Limdol's Vault and plays his own Force of Will. Alix forces again. The Meditate allows him to play this way. And Adam, even though he finds another force, his hand is Ensnaring Bridge and Swords to Plowshares. 2 cards which are absolutely dead in this matchup. Adam starts to realize that things are going to get hairy. He untaps and takes another turn. Force in hand, but no blue card to go with it. He's going to activate his top and look for another blue card. This might help him stave off the incoming combo turn from Alix Hatfield. I'm unsure whether or not he found that blue card. Alix has a lot of cards, and if he's not comboing right now, I'm not really sure what the plan would be, but this seems like a pretty good time to go for it. That Meditate was a really powerful spell, just in its own right. Normally when you see people casting Meditate, their opponents don't really get another turn afterward. But I mean, when you're playing against a deck like this, a deck that's just like a blue deck with counter magic, it's just kind of trying to like develop a board where it can eventually set up like counterbalance top when it only has one copy of counterbalance, or it needs to like set up Thopter Foundry Sword to apply any pressure to you, then you know you should be in a pretty good spot. Meditate is really good for you because a lot of your opponent's cards are just dead. So even though he's taking another turn and drawing another card, he's not the type of deck that's putting pressure on you. And he's also got 20 dead cards. So you're drawing 4 to allow him to draw, you know, for 1 extra turn. Pretty advantageous. Even the mana advantage is minimal in this type of matchup. While important for Alix, Adam, you know, his deck is going to be operating somewhat similarly, whether he is like 4 to 6 lands. Alix, when shuffling Adam's deck, decided to cut it many, many times. This actually does not change the order of the cards. He's going to Cunning Wish. I'm interested to see what he decides to get here. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for something like Pact of Negation, and that's what he gets. Alright. This is it. I want to see some time spirals. Now, an interesting part about the time spiral deck is that your opponents can often draw into Force of Wills of their own, and this allows them to actually disrupt you, like once you've already started to combo them and depleted their hand of counterspells. So while the combo itself is inherently very powerful because it just works off of a normal control engine, it can often disrupt itself if they have a force advantage. Now, I know Adam had a bunch of dead cards in his hand. Cards like Brainstorm are really good at you know, getting rid of the dead cards.
Especially with fetch lands, I mean, you can just shuffle them away, which is great.
That's the plan. That is a Beta Tundra. And I believe that's a Beta Underground Sea. I believe that is the second or third most expensive card in Beta.
Really? I did not realize they were so expensive right now. I mean, I knew they were expensive, but not more than like Moxes. I suppose because you can play them in Legacy, that puts a huge price boost on them. They, I know Adam is a collector of, you know, hard to find cards. Clearly has a lot of great foils in his deck. You look at foil top, foil explosives. You know, he wants his deck to look nice, and he's done a good job of it.
I mean, there's nothing quite as pretty as a Beta Underground Sea.
Alix Hatfield, on the other hand, is a Legacy staple, and he's playing. Is that all? It's all the same island. Is that a Portal Island? Or no, some of them are different. He has a different one on the battlefield right now. I'm pretty sure that's a Portal Island, but I'm not totally certain. The one all the way to the left is different than the others. Is the Outcast.
Now this is the second Meditate that Alix has just cast and then passed the turn and allowed his opponent to get a free time walk. And again, that's not really a big deal here.
Yeah, I mean, it really it's almost like Alix is just taking a couple time walks because the time for Adam isn't as huge. Where drawing the 4 cards is what really matters on those turns a lot of the time. Like Alix is a very experienced Legacy player. He's been playing Legacy for a long time, far before the Star City Open series began, and he knows that in this matchup you just want to overload on cards and build up a density so that you can overcome them. The issue, of course, is if they assemble counterbalance top, it can be a big deterrent to that plan. but Adam feels secure, especially with the board state as it is right now. Adam just gripping a couple cards, Force of Will in his hand.
And Alix is being very patient.
And meditate, or Merchant Scrolls for a brainstorm here. Old classy Homelands Merchant Scroll. And pays 1 to go for the brainstorm. And Adam decides it's time to pull the trigger. Forces the brainstorm.
I'd be completely fine with that.
Yeah, I mean that seems like a play I'd be happy with. It's possibly Adam is seeing at some level we're not aware of. Maybe he's afraid that Alix is close to going off and just wants to disable the amount of cards he can draw, or maybe you think he just has some excess cards he wants to put back, regardless of the situation.
He might also think that Alix was attempting to combo that turn, and the Force is just going to get shuffled back into his library regardless.
Right. But Alix not trying to combo and just passes the turn back to Adam Barnello.
He is waiting forever with this combo. I like that.
I mean, it's on one hand,
patience is definitely a virtue in Magic.
Agreed. We've seen that all weekend long, from Patrick Sullivan restraining himself with his red spells to players being very careful on their attacks, all the way down to this match. The patience is crucial, especially when you're a combo deck against control. You just normally you want to wait it out and set the situation up to really benefit you. The problem, of course, is that Adam has counterbalance, and if he has enough time, he can set up a counterbalance situation where he has.
Well, unfortunately, he actually cannot set up the counterbalance anymore because he attempted to play the counterbalance, and Alix responded with a meditate, which got him a pair of Force of Wills, and they had a counter war over the counterbalance, and Alix had won. I
stepped out of the booth for a moment to use the restroom, so they apparently counterbalance is no longer an option. So with that out of the way, Alix has got to feel pretty confident here. He knows he can take all the time in the world.
Well, he doesn't know that his opponent only has 1 counterbalance either.
Well, I think, a lot of the lists of the Enlightened Tutor decks that I've seen, they only play the 1 because of how you can tutor for it. Some of them might have 2, but I remember the list I played, I'm pretty sure only had 1. And some of the ones I've seen recently only have 1. But I don't think he would put it past his opponent to have a second one either. He's just trying to sit and build on his resources. There's a candelabra on the front of his hand.
I think he has a pair of candelabras.
Yeah, he has quite the suite of cards there. And so Alix goes for a turnabout.
Targeting his opponent.
Yep, trying to mana short Adam, which means that this next turn might be the turn. Adam Enlightened Tutors in response. And Alix is like, all right.
You have no cards in your hand.
What are you going to go get?
So, I mean, this is Iat, so there's no chance of any enchantment action off that top right now. The turnabout should clear the way for Alix.
And it looks like Adam just fails to find. So it looks like Adam just failed to find on that Light Tutor, so he just was like, all right, well, guess this isn't doing anything. Double checking, I don't have any other action. And yeah, you got me. Like he can pretty much see the writing on the wall, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, now even if he's gonna draw 7 cards.
Right.
If Alix intends on using Time Spiral well anyway.
Right. Maybe.
So,
or no, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when he's drawing those 7 cards and shuffling his graveyard back in, he could easily draw into Force of Will and blue cards.
Right.
It's always a danger.
And by casting that Light Tutor, maybe he was trying to see if he could bait any counter magic. Unlikely, but worth a try. And also, he's seen Meditate resolve. He knows that Alix has been stocking up the perfect hand, and it's going to be very hard for him to have a chance to win this game unless he gets an awesome draw off those Time Spirals. So, all right, get ready to watch Storm combo out here. And I guess it's not really Storm. There's no Brain Freeze in this list?
No.
Correct? Yeah, he just kills them with Blue Sun Zenith, right?
Yeah, he just draws them out with the Blue Sun Zenith.
I guess there's a sideboard Brain Freeze, but unlikely we're going to see that Brain Freeze come into play. Alright, so he taps all of his lands. Floating a ton of mana. Here comes Candelabra of Tawnos. Alix uses the mana to untap all of his lands. And plays another Candelabra. He's making so much mana here. The Candelabra, for those who don't know, it's kind of an old artifact. What it says is, it says X, tap, untap X lands. So yeah, so basically all of his lands he just doubles up for free. You know, if he has 8 lands and they all make 2 mana, he just plays it, taps 8, untaps all the lands for free, and just gets that extra mana off of all of them. And here comes Time Spiral, just the card Alix was trying to set up. He's got Pact of Negation sitting in his hand too. Nice. He must have resolved the Cunning Wish earlier in the game to find that pact.
He did.
Okay.
And that pact's actually going to help him a lot here if he needs to get into the Force of Will War.
Alright. So Alix pile shuffles carefully. Wants to make sure that, you know, his graveyard, which is full of just spells, interspersed fine with the land, so he doesn't have these gigantic clumps in his deck, which is, I think, a reasonable choice to make, as long as he can pile shuffle at a reasonable time fashion, which he can clearly do. So he piles and shuffles up. And Adam Barnello looking a little grim. He knows the details of the situation.
I mean, so that's a lot of mana talking about.
Yeah. Alix has a ton of mana. It's just a question of what is he going to do with it. Like, what is he hoping to find here? He's hoping to find maybe, definitely a bunch of draw spells. Obviously, like the Blue Sun Zenith is something he's looking for. Mind Over Matter could be a good card if he wants to continue the chain and generate more mana. I think the key here is, though, finding like a Cunning Wish or the Zenith or some Meditates so he can draw a bunch of more cards and set up all of his engines. And let's see what Alix found.
Now we have another High Tide coming from Alix. I'm more interested to see what Adam found. It does not look too impressive on Adam's side.
Alright, let's see. Preordain first. I am not clear on exactly how much mana Alix has in his mana pool.
I believe now he has 18, if I counted correctly.
Oh, that's all.
So, 18 mana is a lot of mana.
And there goes Meditate. Goes down to 15 if our count is correct, and picks up 4 new cards.
Yeah, I mean, once he draws these cards, he might just have enough to generate the lethal Blue Sun Zenith.
And here comes Meditate again. Draws him 4 more cards. Up 4 cards. Now he's got quite the slew of spells in his hand. I say another Candelabra of Tawnos, which will generate him even more mana. Here comes Cunning Wish, and he's going to find Brain Freeze just to finish it. He shows the Echoing Truth first, mistakenly.
Yeah.
And then backs
oh,
up
well,
to the
this
Brain
is
Freeze.
the colorless and a blue to cast instant.
Yeah, I'm not getting this
Does
one.
this kill you? Oh, no, it's the other one. Okay. I knew one of these did it.
And yeah, Alix takes game 1. He knew he could just set up as much time as he needed, and he did exactly that. He sculpted the perfect hand, and it worked out well for him. So Alix is up a game. Here we go to game 2. I'm curious to see what how these players sideboard. So Alix has to keep a number of cards in his sideboard for his wish board. That's one of the downsides of playing a card like Cunning Wish, is you don't really get as many sideboard slots. The main things he has there that he might bring in are Repeal, which I don't think he would bring in unless he wants to beat counterbalance specifically.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like.
I could see bringing in a couple, maybe as merchant scroll targets potentially, if he thinks that he can get around counterbalance. But it's really not always the best tool for that. Pact of Negation, though, is a pretty nice one for that deck that allows him to win counter wars, set up his combo, and works out.
It lets him push stuff through on the exact turn that he needs to. Also,
right, like with Turnabout, for example, it helps his Turnabouts resolve and so on. In Adam Barnello's sideboard, he also has a bunch of one-ofs because of his Enlightened Tutor. Looking at the cards he could bring in, it seems like Spell Pierce is the primary one. Aside from that, Ethersworn Canonist. This is clearly good here. But aside from that, a lot of his hate seems to be directed toward other decks.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of answers to most of the more popular decks, but it's hard to expect the High Tide deck.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about it, a lot of buzz originally, and now, and then died down. But now Alix, who has played a lot of Legacy, has come back with this, and he has a pretty good idea of how to play it. That's what it looks like. So Alix looking over his sideboard. He still has a repeal there. I can't tell if he still has a bunch there or if he boarded some in. I'm not totally sure. Players shuffling up. This matchup seems really, really dynamic. Like, the countering that one counterbalance in the first game, being able to deal with that is huge, because if Adam had just managed to resolve that counterbalance, the game would be entirely different. Alix would be in much more of a rough spot, but once he countered it, he was able to sit back and take over the course of the game. Adam over there looking sharp. A couple our viewers told us to point out how awesome his beard is, and yes, it is very nice for a beard. Alix Hatfield also looking pretty sharp. Alix is a man who played he played I think Threshold for a while, then he played Natural Order. He was one of the first progenitors of the Natural Order Progenitus archetype. I don't know, quite a while ago around Grand Prix Chicago, and I remember looking over several of his lists when I was preparing for that tournament. Now today he switched gears entirely. Obviously he's been working on the format. I believe him and his brother, the Hatfields, are two big Legacy players, and Alix is certainly showing his worth today. This High Tide deck is pretty interesting. And let's see what we have. Adam ships his hand back, looks at it for a little bit, and decides it's not good enough. Alix lets out a grin. I think Alix looks like he's keeping his hand here. And Adam talking. Alix getting the opportunity to cut. Make sure to give it a little bit of a thorough shuffle, since Adam didn't shuffle for that long. And he's back in the mix. So Adam looks like he's got Spell Pierce, which is we figured he would board in. Turn one top is certainly going to be good for him. Is that a Brain Freeze in Alix's hand? I think it might be. He might have brought in the freeze. It might have been something else, though. I could have missed it. Could have just been the Brainstorm is what I imagine it was. Alix ponders on the first turn.
It looks like a Brainstorm on the top there.
Yeah, that's Brainstorm. Turnabout is the card underneath it. I think that's what I might have thought was the Brain Freeze. So he's once again slowly sculpting his hand, leaves the ponder there. Adam does have a Force of Will, and he's sitting on a Spell Pierce as well, with Sensei's Divining top out. For those of you just joining us, I'm Gavin Verhey here with Jacob Van Lunen, and we're watching round 6 of the Star City Games Open Series here in Edison, New Jersey. On the right, you have Alix Hatfield with his Storm combo deck. Well, not really Storm, although he has been killing with Brain Freeze. It's really at its core a High Tide combo deck with Time Spiral, and sometimes he's killing them with Blue Sun Zenith. Other times you'll end up Brain Freezing them out. But he's been playing it well, and he's made it here. On the left is Adam Barnello, a player who also plays a ton of Legacy. He likes to collect some very nice looking cards, as you'll see there. He's playing a blue-white deck that uses a toolbox engine with Enlightened Tutor. You can find copies of Counterbalance, you can find Thopter Foundry and Sword of the Meek, you can find all kinds of bullets like Moat and Ensnaring Bridge, which are not in his deck anymore, but Adam gets that Mox Opal online this turn. I think that the key to this matchup is probably that one Counterbalance. Adam doesn't have another in his sideboard. He only has one in the main deck. And if Alix can manage to counter that Counterbalance again, I think he'll be in really good shape. But if Adam sticks it, and if he protects it properly, then Alix is going to fall far behind. So it should be interesting to see how it plays out.
The Counterbalance is definitely the most important card in Adam's deck.
I think so. The Thopter Foundry, Sword of the Meek, can also be crucial, but just because it can give Adam a threat that he can use on his opponent's turn. He can just hold up all the counter magic mana he wants, all the protection mana he wants, and he can slowly build an army. Of course, his life total doesn't matter. Alix still will have plenty of time, and you don't want to let him resolve, say, a Meditate necessarily under that Thopter Foundry. But yeah, and Alix goes for a Meditate right here. But let's see what Adam chooses to do. And he goes for Spell Pierce on the Meditate. A lot of players, I think, view Meditate as a card you only really want to cast when you're going off, but oftentimes if you're playing against control and they're not doing anything, you're perfectly content just being, okay, well, I'll just give you an extra turn, I'll draw 4 cards. I needed the cards anyway.
No big deal. I'll Meditate.
And yeah, here comes Force of Will.
Now that's going to be brutal when Adam Spell Snares this. Or Spell Pierces this.
And yep, Meditate resolves.
Meditate resolved?
He already used a Spell Pierce.
Oh, he had another one in his hand, doesn't he?
He might have. He really wanted to cast this Limdell's Vault, apparently. Or maybe he was just perfectly happy fighting Alix. It could have been he was just trying to trick Alix into getting into a counter war.
Maybe you're right. Maybe he thinks that the Counterbalance is just the only card that matters, so he's just gonna...
Like, I feel like Counterbalance is really, really, really like the key card here. Draws up and puts him back.
Yeah, I mean,
loses some life. Life is totally irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant.
So he can do this 19 times. Yep.
He can even double back through his deck to find the one that was the best afterward, which he might even do because he really doesn't. His life is completely irrelevant.
Right. Well, I mean, depending on the amount of cards in his deck, he could potentially rearrange the piles to be the way he wants, right? Because he could you could shift how the 5 cards are set up to maybe change the structure of the piles. It doesn't end up doing that.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Also, his life is relevant, kind of, if only because it makes his future Limdell's Vault, his other copy, live. If he goes all the way down to 1, then he's stuck with instant index.
Did they shuffle the 5 cards that go on top?
No, he just put it on top right there.
Don't you shuffle them? Limdell's Vault?
No, you shuffle your library.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the way Limdell's Vault works is kind of a weird old card. It's blue and a black.
You set up the 5 cards though.
Yeah, you set up the 5 cards. So it's blue and a black, and it says look at your top 5 cards, and you may choose to put them on the bottom of your library and pay 1 life. If you do, you can do the process again. And when you get a 5-card pile you like, you shuffle the rest of your library, and then put those 5 cards on top of it in any order.
Yeah.
It's a great combo card, a great control card. They can dig you to exactly the cards you're looking for in a ton of matchups. Brainstorm from Alix Hatfield here. Eisenhower, who got second today, just walked by and informed us he has X1 in this event. So he's still live, despite not thinking he was going to play when he was fighting in the finals of the
he didn't have a deck,
tournament.
And somebody offered him an Affinity deck. He said, can I play Galvanic Blast? And apparently he's 5-1.
Yeah.
Galvanic Blast seems pretty good.
It's been working well for him. He's been talking great things about it all day. You can get some really robust draws with that deck.
Especially if you're playing it alongside Trap in the Blast. You have a ton of reach.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 cards can be 9 points. When you're playing a deck with Disciple, it's hard to stay above 9.
for sure. And Alix cuts here. Joey Pasco, another commentator, pointed out on Twitter that Alix Hatfield seems to be playing a very similar list, if not the same list, as that Patrick Chapin wrote about in the Star City Gazette. I don't have a copy in front of me, so I cannot confirm, but I'd imagine that it's very likely, at the very least, took some ideas from Chapin. If not, it's just using Chapin's list. Chapin is obviously a man who knows how to build his decks, and this is a good example of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Mind Over Matter was there. It may have been.
Yeah, there's a couple of copies.
I mean, this is a fairly well-known deck.
Right.
This is something that's people do this.
Right. I think the key for a lot of people is just getting the correct configuration of cards, because you have an idea what the combo deck is supposed to be. You know you have to play your High Tides and your Time Spirals and your Meditates, but it's a question on what numbers of each you want to play. For example, like Alix Hatfield's opted for only 3 Meditates, where some players might feel like the 4th one is crucial. Only 2 Preordains, where he might feel like, maybe he needs more or less. So, and once again, I'm not sure if this is Chapin's list or not. We'll try and see if we can grab a copy of the Gazette. There are a few floating around at this tournament. Adam crashing in with that Ethersworn Canonist. Very nice card against a deck that wants to play so many spells in a single turn.
It's true.
It may not actually always storm people out, but it still follows the same mechanism of playing a lot of spells, as most combo decks do.
Interesting note, Alix may play as many Candelabra of Tanos as he wants.
It's true. Candelabra of Tanos does not count against the Ethersworn Canonist, so we can go High Tide Candelabra and make a bunch of mana pass.
Doesn't seem very exciting to me.
No, not really. So it looks like Alix is gripping, or Adam rather, is gripping a Brainstorm and a Force of Will there.
I wouldn't be surprised if Alix went for an EOT repeal here. Oh, he decides to take his draw step. He's in no rush at all.
Alix once again playing very carefully, but this time he knows that he's got something to deal with. That Ethersworn Canonist is going to come down. Okay, and Enlightened Tutor happens. Adam flips his top and goes tutoring.
So I'm interested to see what he finds.
So he does lose his top. He's going for the counterbalance.
Does he have like an Arcane Laboratory or something like that?
No Arcane Laboratory. I was going for Sword of the Meek, so we can assemble a Thopter Foundry. Now he's like, all right, time to race. With Alix at only 11 points of life, he can make that. Let's see. He's going to swing for 2 on his next turn with the Canonist dropping to 9, and yeah, he can swing for 7. I think is 5 lands to play the sword. You can activate it 3 times. 4 if he plays another land. No, which he doesn't have it. So 4, 5, 6 damage on the next turn if he plays that. All right, and the sword on top of the library.
I believe he draws it from the top trigger, correct?
Yep, as soon as top resolves. Or no. No. He cracked the top. It's already in his deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, the top he already drew from. He drew the Enlightened Tutor from the top, and then he cast the Enlightened Tutor.
I understand.
And now that sword is on top of his library. And Alix is trying to figure out, suddenly the tables have turned. Alix does not have all the time in the world anymore. He has to assemble something in fast. Looks like his hand is...
I think he can do it.
Looks like his hand is repeal 2 Candelabras of Tanos. So he has some options. He can repeal away that Ethersworn Canonist. Alright, so here comes Sword. And he pushes in.
We can wait one more turn after this.
Yeah, Alix did the math correctly and cashed in that Ancient Den for a 1/1 token off the Thopter Foundry. So he set it up. And all right, end step, we have a Cunning Witch from Alix Hatfield. Force of Will from Adam Barnello. That's his last card. Now Alix cannot cast another spell this turn because he's already played one. And the Etherstone Canonist turns it off. So now he untaps and he has to go repeal on the Etherstone Canonist here. He's trying to figure out what his line of plays is.
I mean, he's not just dead if he passes.
With Adam out of options, it's a good time to go for it, though. He would have one more draw step potentially, but
yeah, I mean, even if Adam gets any card he could possibly have, though, Alix has Pact of Negations, which are, you know, in many regards, dead otherwise.
Sure. Alix drops 2 Candelabra of Tanoses, and yeah, he's going to take the extra turn, eking out every advantage he can. And he serves in, dropping Alix to 2 life. Plays Engineering Explosives on 1. Oh no! Playing those Candelabras there was not so great for Hatfield. He held on to them for so long.
Yeah.
And now they're not going to get a use out of them. They're just going to go to waste. So he repeals the Canonist, and this is the turn. Can Alix go off? Draws a Brainstorm.
I believe he can.
It certainly looks like he can.
What does he need? Does he have a Spiral? I don't think he has a Spiral. He needs to find one.
He's going to Brainstorm. That's that a
High Tide.
So he brainstorms, looks at the board, looks back at his hand, laughs a little bit. He has to
remember,
find
during
something.
this combo period, Alix can only Force of Will twice, which is something that actually comes up pretty often, where people are Force of Willing many, many times. Even though Adam has no cards in hand, Adam will have cards in his hand once this combo gets going.
Yeah, I mean, now he's going to be generating a ton of mana. Yep, he turnabouts.
Yeah, it's
makes a lot of
one
mana.
left over. Then
it's a shame for him. He lost both
18,
both of those Candelabras. All right, and Cunning Witch happens here.
Yeah, with the Candelabras, he would have had enough to simply just spike his opponent out straight with a Blue Sun Zenith right now. His opponent not had the Engineering Explosive last turn.
Yeah. All right, and what card did Alix Hatfield find? Blue Sun Zenith. So he's going to draw quite a few cards. And leaves 6 up, which is enough to Time Spiral, which is exactly what he's digging for.
It's 9 mana that he actually left up. Right, because he played 2 High Tides? Or did he only play 1?
I thought he only played 1, but I might have missed the second one. He started his combo off pretty quickly.
Okay.
So there might be a second High Tide involved. And he shuffles the Zenith back in. Shuffling carefully. He's got a fresh hand of cards.
Now he may not even need Spiral now.
And if you found Spiral, he's in a great position too. But
yeah, at this point, I think if you Zenith for that much, you might just want to win without it.
Right. I mean, especially I'm sure he has a turnabout. He can just untap all of his lands, right? Okay, High Tide again.
Yeah.
There's the turnabout. So he has the turnabout. He has repeal. He's got a bunch of counter magic. There's a Ponder.
Yeah, he's not even going to Spiral.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really want to lose his hand here, and more importantly, I think he doesn't want to give Adam Barnello any Force of Wills.
Yeah, because if he has to start playing his own Force of Wills, like, he's kind of in trouble.
Right. Yeah, he can only afford to Force of Will one more time, so I would have to say
Force of Will kills him.
Yeah. Alright, turnabout. Untap a bunch of lands. And this is the engine.
He has Still has 2 mana floating.
See, there's a
for all
meditate.
that. So after this, he has 1 mana floating.
All right. Meditate resolves.
Or I guess it's still 2, right? Jeez.
That's a merchant scroll. He just shows his hand, and Adam's like, "Yeah, I know where this is going." He shows a merchant scroll, time spiral, and Alex is like, "Do you want me to play through this?" No. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, high tide deck. I love watching high tide decks.